Classic League Podcast time! Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 259 of the Classic Elite Podcast. My name is Scott. I've got Dustin with me. Dustin, is it 159? Let me check. It is. I said 150. It is 259. 59 is what I was focusing on. We're correct. So again, my name's Scott. I've got Dustin with me. Dustin, what's going on, man? Uh-oh. Cruz says he did not hear the theme song.
That's the best part.
I know. We will definitely be starting again if the theme song did not play. Let me. It should be. Well, let us know. We will roll in. Luckily, it's a glitch up front. But my audio mixer is picking it up. It says it is. So, but Dustin.
Yeah, I hear it over the.
Okay.
Stream.
Cool. I don't know. Free software. What are you gonna do? Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. How is the? So, welcome to the video game podcast, Classic Elite. Dustin, what's going on, man?
So, I got great news. I've got great news.
Okay.
I don't know how it happened, but my sister-in-law, when we were deciding baby names,
Okay.
she all of a sudden walks up and she's like, I really like Simon. And I'm like,
No way.
oh my gosh, I agree. I'm trying not to oversell it,
Right?
Not to be like super enthusiastic. I'm like, I like Simon too. Simon's pretty good. And eventually, I won Kim over.
So you're having a boy?
And yesterday we found out we're having a Simon.
Oh my god, dude.
Isn't that the best news?
Bravo, congratulations. Holy crap. And it's a fictional character, so you're not going to have to worry about it going sideways in the news on you.
Right?
So you're going to Simon and Sully. Like that just sounds great.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man.
And if he has a friend over, I can always call him Simon and Garfunkel.
Dude,
when Kim's all hopped up on drugs, I'm totally going to have the birth certificate changed to Simon Belmont Vogler.
yeah, just put the B in there, right? Well, will you be able to slip in at least a B middle name, like a Benjamin or something?
I think we are. I think it's going to be Simon Ryan.
Okay.
Because my middle name is Ryan, and she wanted that.
Gotcha.
And she was okay with Simon, so I did not argue at all.
Simon Ryan sounds like also a cyberpunk cop name. That's freaking sweet, dude.
Yeah, and then this happened. I got in the Castlevania 4.
Oh, that came in, the vinyl.
Yeah.
Dude.
Featuring Simon Belmont. And look at what this says right here.
Contra 3, Alien Wars, Rondo of Blood, and Symphony of the Night. Those are all coming?
Yeah, those are all soundtracks coming.
That's a Mondo, isn't it? Mondo Tees? Mm-hmm. They're 3 months late on my Jaws LP soundtrack, and it's not coming until after Christmas now. But at least it's coming in. No. It looks amazing. It looks so worth it, though. It looks worth the wait. That's awesome. I like that they're... I want to hear that elevator pitch to the Konami guy.
Yes.
Like how'd the Mondo T guy be like, you're not doing anything with that. Why don't you let us print these vinyls?
Yeah.
Simon Vogler. Fuck yeah, dude. That's really cool. I'm trying to think of a name that I would... I don't know what I would go for. See, for my little... I got my brother on my mind right now because it's Christmas and stuff coming up. Mm-hmm. And he would fight for Quint, I think, from Jaws.
Okay.
Come on, how's he going to get that by? Simon is not a common name.
Right.
It's a well-known name, but I don't know. I've only met a couple of Simons.
Same here.
That's
I think maybe one.
I had a friend, Simon, in high school, and I know I've met others. I can't think of them at the moment. Man, like that would have been like a silly topic we would have discussed on an episode a year ago.
Right?
Like if you could pick a video game name for a kid, I'd go with Simon. And you're right, man. That'll be a lot of fun. Simon and Garfunkel. There's already a lot of Simon toys. There's an inherent game built in with him being the boss.
He already has a theme. It's even on this album. I can play it for him.
One of my favorite video game songs of all time is the first song in Castlevania 4. Mm-hmm. Something about that just... I absolutely adore that song. And it's not because of nostalgia. I got into that song from the Angry Video Game Nerd reviews. I didn't play that game as a kid. I was like, oh my God, that song sounds awesome. So when's little Simon going to be due then?
May.
All right.
May 18th is the tentative date.
That's cool. My little brother's also in May. So, okay. I got to tell you this coincidence. So yesterday I'm watching this amazing YouTuber. He does these great movie reviews called Oliver Harper. And I was watching the Tremors video.
Ooh, all right.
So I'm loving this, and bear with me, audience. I swear, for me, this is neat. So so I'm watching this review, and Tremors is also one of my brother's favorite movies. I've talked about him loving Jaws, but Tremors is also one of his favorites. So he throws in a little factoid in the video, and he's like, in Norway, the name was not Tremors. It was called Worm Summer because Jaws was called Shark Summer. Worm Summer in Norwegian is translated to Mark Summer. So his name is in the Tremors title, and it's there because of the movie Jaws.
That's awesome.
Like, what a weird coincidence. Today he sent me a picture. He bought a piece of the boat from the movie off of, like, eBay or something.
Cool.
It's signed by it's a whole cool story by it. So, yeah. How about that Mark Summer? Like, it blew my mind. He wasn't as excited as I was, I don't think. So, you know Oliver Harper?
Yeah. He does like 30-minute videos, kind of like he'll go into like the production and the soundtrack and
the
video game. Yeah.
And a full review on top of all of that.
Those are excellent.
I've been
videos.
just binging them. And it's an older channel. So this catalog is enormous, and I've disagreed with very little he said, and I've watched hours of it now.
Yeah.
He's like, my favorite 3 movies: Superman, Ghostbusters, RoboCop. I'm like, oh my gosh, like I am fully on board with you, man. This is awesome. I agree. So yeah, I guess let's talk about some video game stuff. The first thing we need to do is our friends over at the RetroLeague.com. They are having their own game awards. So we are going to cast a vote, much like we do in their NCAA style best retro video game tournament. We are going to help determine the best video game stuff related to retro games of 2017. So first up, the category that they have is the best retro gaming headline of 2017. Again, you can take this and you can vote on this over at the RetroLeague.com as their 2017 Retro Gaming Awards thing. It's right there on the front of the page. I think they're taking votes for at least another week. So after you hear this, you'll probably have at least a week to go vote on this stuff. Yes, December 31st. So you'll have a week from here. So the best retro gaming headline, Dustin, what headlines do we have?
Let's see. We got Fago starts a rumor that there's an undiscovered Fago-themed Easter egg in a Super Mario Brothers game. Hackers find NES emulator and golf ROM hidden in the Nintendo Switch as a tribute to Satoru Iwata. Nintendo Switch eShop launches with 5 Neo Geo games. Sonic 3D Blast developers reveal why hitting the cartridge unlocks a cheat menu. Nintendo releases the Super Nintendo Classic Mini, and Super Mario Land recreated in Mario Maker.
Also, shout out to Hugh on populating the survey, those were definitely in different orders for me.
Oh, wow.
So if you are just clicking through, it won't stagger the results or whatever. It'll help get rid of that bad data. Very smart. So I don't know, man. Which of these jump out to you the most? I know I've got one I'd vote for.
I'm partial to the Satoru Iwata.
Yep, me too. That's exactly what I was thinking.
I thought that was super cool.
Yep. So we are going to vote for that. Fago starting that rumor. I don't remember covering that at all, but that's amazing.
That's hilarious.
I wish I would have gotten more traction. All right, next up we have the best virtually retro release of 2017. They have Blaster Master Zero, Night Trap, the 25th Anniversary Edition, Wonder Boy, the Dragon's Trap Remake, Sonic Mania, Tumbleweed Park, Planescape Torment, the Enhanced Edition, the Disney Afternoon Collection, Full Throttle Remastered, and Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy. Which is the best virtually retro?
I mean, it's got to be Sonic Mania.
That's one I think I would vote for. I wish I would have played Wonder Boy. I actually almost recently bought that.
Same.
But yes, Sonic Mania is definitely what I'd vote for as well. And we're getting boring here. Yeah. Okay. What do we have next?
The Dana Plato Memorial Award for Biggest Retro Gaming Controversy of 2017. And
that's some dark, dry humor. Maybe that was Rob, but I just picture Hugh reading that.
Absolutely.
Sometimes he makes so many jokes that I just fucking cry at.
Oh my gosh! I was gonna send you this text last night. It was a picture. I was thinking of It Came from the Desert for the Turbo CD. It's this really weird little game.
Okay.
And I remember thinking it was kind of nonsensical, and I was like, I wonder if anybody did a walkthrough for this. So I went to GameFAQs, and I type it in. There's one walkthrough for the Turbo CD version of this game, written by Hugh Johnson.
Amazing.
I was like, that is awesome. I gotta send this to Scott, but it was like 10:30 at night, so it would have been 11:30 your time.
I probably would have still saw it. I think I would show up. That's freaking awesome, man.
All right, so let's see, our options here in the Dana Plato Memorial Award for Biggest Retro Gaming Controversy of 2017 is Nintendo Switch launches without a virtual console service after 9 months. Nintendo hasn't revealed plans for it. Atari is back website.
Which, quick aside, can you believe that the Switch has been so strong, no one's give a shit about virtual console?
Yeah.
That's incredible.
That's an excellent point, yeah.
Okay, sorry.
Atari is back websites cover the Atari box like it will disrupt the gaming market. Microsoft bans console emulators from Windows stores. Crowdfunded ZX Spectrum Vega Plus misses shipping date. Backers question where the money went. Atari sues KitKat for copying Breakout in advertisements. SNES Classic Mini shortages, despite assurances from Nintendo that it would be available in greater supply. Speedrunner questions legitimacy of 35-year-old dragster world record. Poor quality of retro game re-releases on Android and iOS. Mega Man 1 through 6 and Sega Forever as examples. At Games blames bad Sega Genesis flashback HD reviews on reviewers receiving defective units. And Nintendo discontinues the NES Classic while demand is still high.
As far as the biggest controversy, the biggest controversy has to be related to the Nintendo Mini Classics, wouldn't you think? Either the discontinuation or the lack of more supply of the Super Nintendo ones. I think one of those two, as far as outrage, like the biggest controversy. What do you think? Any jumping out to you?
I would say the NES Classic, just because those are still stopped. Like, you still can't find them.
Yeah, and they're supposed to be coming out again, but look at how popular and hard it is to find an SNES Classic. Even these re-releases are going to be tough. Yeah, I'll agree. So we're going to vote for Nintendo discontinues the NES Classic while demand's still high. That one, I'm cool with that.
Because everybody and their grandmother wanted one of those things, and they were just like, "Nah, we're not making them. We don't care."
So next up, we get to pick our favorite episode of the Retro League in 2017. So there's the emergency episode, which is the Joystick Magazine September 1983 episode. The April Fool's Day episode about Ninja Gaiden 64, which that's what I want to vote for. Toasters and Chainsaws, their episode. The topics included their discussion of the NES Classic, their episode 386, Computer Games, which this had the No Swear Gamer, and the topics included their favorite 386 processor PC games, which is appropriate for that title. Maybe we'll steal that in 10 years, and they won't know, right? In episode 391, it was Professional Boat Sinker. They talked about 1997 movies with Chewie from the Manipool. That's tough to not vote for Chewie. I love Chewie. Episode 392, Sneaker Authentication, which is the Atari Box announcement and tribute to Keith Robinson. 400-2, which was an Ask Them Anything, which is another great episode. 411, which is the Laser Lords of Metal episode. It's their Black Friday retro gaming deals with Ferg from the Atari 2600 Game by Game podcast, which is a cool podcast. The guy's reviewing every Atari game. He's been talking about this podcast for a while, but each podcast is a new Atari game. And he's saying, sorry, I didn't listen to the show. I just wanted to vote in all the other categories. Don't worry. That's cool with us, they say. Okay, I changed. So April Fool's I liked because of the effort, but yeah, I kind of want to vote for Chewie.
Go for it.
All right, let's see who's winning what. They usually, it's spinning. They usually give us the results. Let's see here. So, Hackers Find a tribute to Satoru Iwata, dominating. Cool. Best virtually retro release, Sonic Mania, dominating. Biggest controversy. We're close. It's either the Atari is back. It's tied with Nintendo discontinues.
Okay.
So, the Atari is back is funny, and they just started accepting pre-orders for the new Linux console. Their PR has been incredible. They have their name out there with nothing to show for it. Whenever I hear anybody talk about it, it's dogged. But there's articles galore because it does look good. And April Fool's Day is leading for the favorite episode. So, yes, definitely go check out the retroleague.com. That's their award show for this year. They're great. Hugh and Rob have been friends of ours for a long time. So go check that out at the retroleague.com. And Dustin, let's get into news. So we got a pretty good story here first. Nintendo Power is returning.
They're returning in podcast form, which is really a good idea.
Amazing idea, I think. And now who knows if it'll be a good podcast. I think the first episode's out. But hell yes. We're obviously biased. We love podcasts.
Right.
This first one I guess Chris Slate is the name of the person that's going to host it, and he's the former editor-in-chief of Nintendo Power. And the debut episode has Ionuma and Fubiashi from Legend of Zelda. That's
some real bangers.
That's coming out of the gate hard. Like, pay attention to this. Part of me hopes that they have like an email comment segment as ridiculous as the questions they would answer in the magazine. Some of those they would get like shitty back to the people asking questions. And it's the same editor in chief, right?
Yeah.
So maybe we'll get some of that pizzazz in there.
Yeah, I bet with the talent, I bet the production values will be fine. I bet this will be
That better be excellent.
A great podcast.
I'm trying to think what other major company, like I wouldn't listen to a Coca-Cola podcast. There's not too many brands that I would want to listen to a podcast of. Nintendo is one of the few. I can see a Fender, because I'm all into repairing my guitar right now. I could listen to a Fender company podcast.
Yeah.
Maybe Asus or Gigabyte, if they had like a good PC hardware podcast I could listen to. What's a brand you might?
Swingline.
Swingline, best staplers in the game.
Basically any video game company.
Yeah, if you got a good inside baseball, that would be cool. Just about any gaming company.
Like Mondo. If Mondo did a...
Mondo would be so fascinating. They could answer how the hell that stuff happens. But yeah, no, it turns out the Konami guy is just a huge vinyl nut.
He said, what's Castlevania? Whatever.
180 gram vinyls. Awesome. So, Nintendo Power returns, and it's going to be a podcast. What might be... Man. I guess it's been so long since I listened to or read Nintendo Power. I'm having a hard time thinking of what I might want revived. I don't think a codes section or a tips and tricks section would do real well. From an entertainment standpoint, I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
But what might be some either games or segments that you might want? Previews, getting developers of upcoming games kind of pimping their projects, I'd be okay with.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what Nintendo Power did.
Getting all their indie developers in, talking about stuff.
Yeah, I would really like to. I'd like to hear that a lot.
The Amiibo corner? What hot new Amiibos are coming out?
Hey, you can go spend $30 on cereal on eBay right now, I guess.
Right. Are people still flipping out about Mario cereal?
I assume so, yeah. I was listening earlier today, and No Sword Gamer was saying on the Retro League podcast that I think he saw listings for $30 on eBay, even though it's supposed to be $3 or $4 a box at Target or whatever. If I see it, I'm gonna get it, but I could only imagine Walmart in my town having it, and I hate going to Walmart.
Yeah, it's the worst.
It's really bad.
Ooh, you know what would be cool is this is like a podcast with just veterans. They're not even necessarily in the video game business anymore.
Yes.
But they're just talking about back when I was working for Sega in the 90s, this is what happened, that's what happened.
Yes.
Oh yeah, I was working for Super Nintendo at the time, and this was happening. We were doing this, and
he should just episode or issue by issue reboot every issue of Nintendo Power. Mm-hmm. Go contact anybody that worked on it he still has contact with, and see if they'll be wanting to come on the show.
Yeah,
and give me some preview stuff. I agree with you. My gut tells me it'll probably be pretty good. They wouldn't. There's no reason for them to do this unless they're confident they'll put out a good product. I would think. Yeah,
and when you're getting interviews with the guys who made Breath of the Wild, which is one of the hottest games right now, you're connected enough to get people coming in.
Yes, absolutely. I guess part of me is just viewing it as a child would. It's just all Nintendo. He just knocks on the guy's door because they just work at Playland. It's amazing. But you're right. I mean, those are big gets.
Yeah.
So, very cool. All right, next up, this is a very heartwarming story. Did you get a chance to check this out?
I did. The Silver Snipers. They are a CSGO esport team where everyone is over 60 years old. The youngest one is 62 years old.
Yeah.
And the eldest is 81.
and they just kind of started playing CS:GO as a team, and they took it seriously. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. I want a documentary made on these people.
Oh, right. Just the 3 weeks they spent just grinding through it. What was the lady's name that started it? It's a longer article.
Yeah.
But they're all from Sweden, I believe.
Where you at, Cloth Map? Get on it.
Dude, have you been watching any of the Cloth Map stuff?
No.
His Brazil videos have been amazing.
Yeah.
He did all these. This is Drew Scanlon from Cloth Map. He did the gray market in Brazil. It's amazing. He was also on Good Morning America.
I saw that. He was his subtitle was The Blinking Guy or something like that.
The white blinking guy, because that's what his meme's called. It's really cool.
I saw that he tweeted that out and it said, I need to update my business cards.
Yes. Her name is Monica Idenfers. She's Swedish, so Idenfers? I have no idea how to pronounce her last name. It sounds like they got stomped, but they were sponsored by Lenovo, which is cool.
Cool.
And they were assembled with the article says the explicit goal of broadening the audience of esports, which typically skews quite young. They're like, quite young. Yes, it does. And they were coached by Tommy Potty. Ingle Morrison is his last name. Potty's his screen name. It's cool. So they got like a real pro and gave it a go. And it sounds like they all had a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's like a fantasy camp, like getting to play like wiffle ball at Wrigley Field or something. Yeah, I don't. Could you see your parents?
No.
I could see my mom with a different style of game. She likes games in general.
Same.
See, I don't think my dad would enjoy it if he gave it a try, but I'd have a hard time pushing him to sit down and learning a mouse and a keyboard because I struggle with it. So I know he might have some trouble.
That was what I was thinking. The mouse and keyboard is going to be a huge obstacle.
But he loved Mega Man 2. So there's got to be something there.
Yeah.
My mom plays games on her iPad all the time. Maybe I could convince him, like, Dad, it's what I podcast about. You should give it a try. He'll love it. He's like, is that where you write about video games on your blog? Yes, that's what it is. Close enough. I would totally be up for doing this if I'm 60.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
you'd have zero expectations. Like,
I'm trying to think, but that wouldn't be that would be obvious and easy for us.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think of what would be something I could see trying a new instrument in my 60s that I've never played before, and everybody else is doing a new instrument, and we have a band. I could see something like that happening, and we try to do 90s covers.
Yeah, you're trying to wrap your head around a Pearl Jam cover on a glockenspiel.
So that's what I was going to say. I was going to Pearl Jam and Weezer because I know that's easy to play. A lot of it is. But I'd be trying to do the drums this time, or the keyboards or something. It'd be cool. Next up, this is funny. I saw it at Kotaku. This is a very light week of news, so we're getting lighthearted, and that's it. There's a guy trying to play Final Fantasy 7, 8, and 9. He's trying to speedrun them at the same time. And the short of it is he has one controller that executes inputs at all games at all times. So he'll be trying to be in a fight in 7 and cast a healing spell for one character, and he does something terrible that affects the other game because he's still hitting button inputs. So he's doing weird menu selections, or he's dropping party members, and he has to have this super spinning plate type of situation.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty funny. He got 7 hours in before dying in one of the runs in the Kotaku playthrough.
That was the part I didn't get from the article when I skimmed it was, excuse me, goodness, was whether he had like 3 controllers or like how he was going about it. But one controller and every input goes to every game. That's hilarious.
One
That's
controller, great. One input command, 3 games though. I love it. What a weird niche goal to carve out.
Right. When normal speedrunning gets too easy for you.
Wild. And he estimates that he could do this in about 20 hours. That to me is very remarkable.
Yeah.
To know 3 JRPGs that well. It feels like some of those like mini games you'd run into.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like little puzzles in a Zelda game or something like that. Except it's the entire. And he's not doing little ones. Like you have to move characters a lot. And 8 and like they mechanically are 3 different games. It's cool. Thank you, Kotaku, for coming up, and The Verge for writing about these silly things that are really cool to talk about. Old people get involved in eSports for the fun of it.
Yep.
And a dude that's so bored with streaming, he's doing 3 JRPGs at the same time. Good on him for that. And I guess last up, Amazon and Google are continuing to have a pissing match publicly.
Yeah.
Which it doesn't really feel like free market when it's Google and Amazon because they're so huge. But Amazon has filed a trademark according to TechCrunch. That, but yeah, they filed a trademark for Amazon Tube and OpenTube, and it looks like competitors to YouTube.
Yeah, this is like that scene from The Hobbit where those 2 mountains basically come alive and start fighting each other.
Oh yeah, okay, yes. I'm like, took me a second. I remember what you're talking about now. Yeah, like, what are you going to do? Like, as a bystander, is this going to really benefit anybody?
Right.
I don't know what it is about Amazon's video platform. It's where I prefer to rent movies. It's always my last choice after YouTube and Netflix, Plex, what I have recorded, all that kind of stuff. It's like the last place I think to go, even though I have that access.
Yeah.
But in the U.S. at least, I don't know how Amazon is outside of us. I could actually see them being a viable option as somebody that could compete on the scale of YouTube.
Yeah.
They've got a lot figured out. They've owned Twitch for a while now. They're starting to do some really cool things with Twitch. Hey, more video platforms for us, the better, I think.
Same, yeah.
OpenTube. That sounds worse than the porn sites that have like a play on YouTube.
Right, yeah.
OpenTube sounds like a deep fetish site.
Yes. Yes, it does.
An Amazon Tube, it sounds like the most generic, like an Amazon Basics HDMI cable.
Right. Yeah.
I'd watch it. I'd give it a try.
Amazon Tube sounds like the website people use in like a Family Channel original movie.
Yes, it does. Just one of those made up. I was watching your movie sucks.org and I was watching his unfriended movie review. And It sounds like the fake social media site stuff that they visit in that movie. Yeah, I've been on a movie, like a deep movie review kick. I like these really in-depth looks at stuff.
Oh man, your movie sucks. His review of Amusement is fantastic.
It is. I just recently finished that up, and man, does he shred that in a very hilarious way. He's somebody that I do disagree with on some stuff, but I love his videos.
Yeah.
And his humor. The jokes he makes are so funny. He's very, very good. They're like, he hates Ex Machina. And I'm like, shut up. I love that movie. I watched one of his, because YouTube was just recommending videos for me. And he's just straight up like, yeah, I know my format's like Cinema Sins. I love his format, so I'm going to do that. Just like, it was like from 2010 or something. I'm like, hell yeah, dude. That's very cool. Yeah, Amazon Tube. I don't know. I wonder if they filed that trademark and just roll it into Twitch not being branded as separately from Amazon as it currently is. Maybe if like I don't know, something like, you know how Facebook owns Instagram?
Mm-hmm.
But Instagram, you would never know it unless you already are aware of that. Facebook doesn't feel integrated into it.
Right.
I wonder if they will... That's how Twitch and Amazon feel right now. But I wonder if maybe that line will begin to blur and Amazon tries to start leveraging its retail brand alongside the biggest Twitch platform or the streaming platform. He's owned by the richest guy in the world, so...
Right.
I'm just waiting for all the times about once or twice a year, Elon Musk is just going to pop up and be like, hey, remember me? Okay, I'll come back in 10 minutes and watch this. Like I saw UPS just ordered something like 125 of their new self-driving electric semi-trucks. It was like the biggest pre-order that they've gotten, or maybe of like any vehicle pre-order. I don't know. It was a very interesting thing they talked about. But if UPS, who like they are so precise with stuff, and like I used to work at UPS, and when I was unloading packages off of trucks, they needed a new package from the truck onto the conveyor belt like every 6 seconds. So if they're willing to take like an automated driving, if they're willing to take this big of a gamble, that says a lot about their faith, I think, in Tesla Motors as a good option, which I think is nuts. We got, good old open tube. Or, it could be a great cartoon character that you would see about dental hygiene in like second grade.
Right, yes.
Mr. Open Tube, he's sad because this is all crusty and can't get the toothpaste out. So, all right, well, that's going to be it for the news this week. So, Dustin, who are you going to feature for this week's YouTube channel of the week?
YouTube channel of the week. I think we're going to go with Spy Bionic. He does channels featuring... He does videos featuring...
hey, some YouTubers do channels.
Yeah. Games 81 has like 15 now, doesn't he?
He really did. Like, early on, man, he knew get followings on all my niches, not just have one spot. I mean, I remember briefly he had a 3D channel when YouTube had that 3D effect available.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. It was crazy.
That's awesome. But this guy does not have 3D channel. He has a channel where he does unboxing of vinyl, and he does the one that I'm featuring is 30 best PC Engine CD soundtracks. And he also did Sega CD, Mega Drive. He did like 30 best soundtracks of 2017. Haven't listened to that one yet. Oh gosh. Oh, I got a sneeze coming. Oh.
Thank you for holding that off, I guess.
Thank you.
Spy Bionic is a wonderful name.
Yeah.
That's a great handle. So, were there any out of the soundtracks that he listed for PC Engine? Were there any that you were surprised made it, or that you hadn't heard of, that you couldn't believe you hadn't heard of, or was there any glaring omission where you're like, "What the hell"?
Let's see. For the PC Engine side, man, there was one where I was like, how could this not be? Maybe it was the Sega CDs I was thinking about.
Oh, he's done this on the Sega CD as well?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I can forgive you for crossing the streams on that one. Those are pretty similar.
But he did put Rondo of Blood in there. So
okay.
So we're good.
He's not crazy, yes.
Yeah.
He validated. Yeah, you've been on a kick with that stuff. You and HD Retrovision have been going back and forth on Twitter.
Yes.
That was more Neo Geo and a capture device, though, more than PC Engine.
Yes. I told him that. What did I say? It was something stupid. Their cable made my Neo Geo CDZ look like someone was dropping liquid sex on my pupils, I think.
Yeah. So it just works? Like, is that a new cable that I just wasn't...
It's the Sega CD cable with one attachment, or was the Sega Genesis cable with an attachment. So
really?
you plug that in and then plug your Sega Genesis cable in. Yeah,
it just works.
Mm-hmm.
Oh God, that's awesome.
Pretty sure it's the same with the Sega Saturn also.
I would guess it would be, because it's just redirecting a pin out, right?
Yeah.
I would assume. I say that like I know, but I know it's a passive adapter, so if you're not generating any power, that's got to be the case. That's cool, man. Spy Bionic. I'm gonna have to. Man, my YouTube backlog's getting crazy, and YouTube is so easy to just get sucked into.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to just lay there and get through your YouTube backlog.
Mm-hmm.
Video games, it's more of a commitment, because you can always just skip next if you're bored of what they're talking about. Right. Sometimes in something like Zelda, it's daunting because I have to relearn the controls and little basic things. I forgot how to read the map. I did what you did. I pulled up a location map of where all the shrines are. Mm-hmm. Like the very first one I picked out, I couldn't figure out what the hell to do. So I'm like, I couldn't even get into the shrine.
Yeah.
There was like some puzzle I needed to solve with some thieves out in the desert. I'm like,
yeah, no, I would just skip those. I just went to the easy ones that are just sitting out in the open.
But the fact that I picked a shit one right out of the gate made me very unmotivated.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah, Spy Bionic. Check them out. We'll have it linked in the description. So, speaking of all that stuff, what have you been playing, man?
Well, speaking of Breath of the Wild, I beat it.
It's making me feel bad about myself.
But I cheated like right off the bat by pulling out maps of everything that I wanted to get to. Yeah, that game is like 90% going through shrines.
Yeah, see, you pulled the curtain back. You're not supposed to know that that's how that game functions.
Guess so.
The whole point is to explore and be like,
look at this magical land.
I'm lost. This is cool. I can go over there. I picked up this thing that's going to help me find other things. So, were you confirmed that there was only like 4 hours of real gameplay?
Maybe, I don't know, 6?
Maybe 6.
With the Divine Beasts, like those, getting through those was a pretty elaborate process sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had Hylian trousers, Hylian hood, and the Champion's tunic. And I went through and upgraded those fully.
I do like that it's the upgrade mechanics are simple but vast because you can upgrade everything. I do like that. I can wrap my mind around it. I don't have to learn some intense system.
Yeah. Although there was, lightning in that game. Any electricity is
Bullshit.
garbage.
Yeah, dude, it's annoying.
It sucks ass, man. I lost my Hylian shield because of lightning.
And that's the boss I'm stuck on in the desert, is that
it was that boss.
That junk. And it's not, I just need more hits. I know how to do it, but the camera gets very wonky in that boss fight. I think it does. Yeah. I'm going to feel so good when I finally get past that damn thing. I saw some of the screenshots you put up on Twitter. So how was posting to Twitter from the Switch?
Surprisingly easy.
And
it was
remarkable
photos.
Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw a login with the Switch. I'm like, I've got to keep my eyes open. Dustin's going to be posting some cool stuff. Oh, hey, before you get to video games, you saw Star Wars last night?
I didn't, actually. We were going to, but then my buddy and his family were just racked with that same stomach virus.
Bummer.
So we just stayed in and watched Psych on DVD.
I'm supposed to see it Monday, I think. Monday night. So I'm looking forward to it. Sounds like lots of positive reviews. And I forgot there are Rian Johnson movies I like. So I'm optimistic. I think he did Looper.
Mm-hmm.
That's a fun movie.
Yeah, it was good.
I'm okay with that guy getting his hands on some Star Wars. I'm not surprised to hear good things.
Yeah.
So have we discussed this in person? I don't. I used to say I'm a big Star Wars fan, but I've consumed such a small percentage of that content now because I haven't seen the series or like the cartoon stuff, and I haven't rewatched the prequels other than like Mr. Plinkett reviews and stuff where he just shreds them. So I'm only like a big fan of a small piece of that Star Wars pie anymore.
Same. I'm very much a casual fan of Star Wars stuff now.
Yeah, I used to consider myself a big fan. But if I try to objectively look at it, I wouldn't say that I am. I there's so much I don't know anymore. It used to be so nice and contained. It was great. So maybe next week. You guys might see it this weekend or something? Or do you have time off next week with school?
Yeah, we finally got time off. I don't know. Kim really doesn't care about it.
And you can't push the issue.
Yeah. I'm very lukewarm on it.
I was just talking about you getting the name. Maybe that's why she's like, for the rest of this child's life, I get to remind Dustin. That's so cool, dude. Yeah. Okay, so I guess let's talk about what you've been playing. So, don't spoil anything. Did you enjoy the Ganon fight? Should I be?
He dies at the end. Link does.
Oh shit.
It was all just a dream going on in Zelda's head. She wakes up, and it's the end of Zelda 2, Adventure of Link. What?
I actually awesome. At the end of Skyward Sword, there were little nods to the other games that would show the beginnings of things. Like there was some of that actually happening.
Yeah.
Some of the songs, some of the things that they would explain. I just remember to think, I can't specifically name it off the top of my head, but I remember the feeling of, oh, so that's why. That would be bonkers if a Breath of the Wild was just her laying on that bed for 1,000 years, and this is just... That's why there's so many damn shrines to get through. It's going to take a long time.
Right.
So, so what else you been playing, man?
I played some TMNT 2, the arcade game.
Okay.
Because I hooked up my Nintendo, and I was trying to... Because Solly... Okay, I really have to back this up. There was a portion in Mario Odyssey in New Donk City where you play the first game. And Solly saw it and he was like, "Oh, I want to play that," because he's played it before. So I hooked up the Nintendo and I tried to get it working, and it was just acting funky, like it was all glitched out on the screen. And I thought it was just the Mario Duck Hunt cart. Even after watching it, though, it was still there. So I was like, well, I'll try TMNT too and throw that in. And it looked pretty normal. And I was like, well, I wonder if I can still put that code in for the level select and 9 lives. So I tried that out. And I got it. BA, BA, up, down, BA, left, right, BA, start.
That's
And so I was like, well, I may as well play the Technodrome level, right? So I went to the Technodrome level. And it took a continue, but I beat it.
I've never beaten Shredder without a friend.
Yeah.
Although I don't remember ever using the code either. If I had that 9 lives code, I might be able to.
I bet you could.
Because you do start to learn the pattern. It is clear, like, oh, okay, that's the correct Shredder that I need to take. And my problem is those rays that shrink you and kill you instantly.
Yes.
The pattern, some of those are brutally unfair.
Mm-hmm.
So that's usually what would get me.
You basically have to just be ready to book it to the other side of the screen.
Yes.
Whenever you see a shredder start to back up, like you have to be on him, or you will die.
And you got to also angle, depending on where he is, to try to get like either above or below him. You can't just walk a particular direction because it eats 2/3 of the screen.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So when you said TMNT, I imagine the actual arcade cabinet, not the NES game.
I wish. No, it was the NES game.
I still think it's weird to me that everyone loves Turtles in Time. It feels like the consensus is that one's clearly better than Turtles 2, the arcade game on the NES. The NES plays so much better. You have so much better control over the turtles. You're not penalized for using your super move. In fact, you're rewarded greatly for becoming good at the super move. The hit detection is more consistent when it comes to the jump attacks. The top, like if you think of an enemy as a box, the top right corner of the box is much easier to hit and more fair to hit in the NES game. Whereas in the SNES game, sometimes with that hitbox, you would jump over the guy or you jump into their attack. Whereas in the NES game, you could fine tune and get pixel perfect and just go right over their right over the weapon. But it's not game breaking because it's skillful to get good enough to be able to avoid their attack while hitting them.
And General Trag, man, he's hard.
Which rock version is that? Is that?
It's the one right before you go into fight Crank.
Okay, yeah, dude. A ton of hits. Like I always remember questioning myself, like, am I even doing any damage?
Right.
I also, is he one of the ones that doesn't have the third blinking stage? Like there's only one stage of him blinking, so you think like, oh my god, he's just now blinking for the first time.
Yeah.
When he's a regular rock, right before you rescue Splinter, that's also a tougher fight. But you can get that pattern down with jumps and stuff. Pretty good. All right. Hey, we got. I can't tell, Dustin. Is this a legit question in chat about a massive sculpture at Penn Station?
Apparently, Benjamin has a photo. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it auto blocks photos and stuff.
I don't think you can share a photo in YouTube live stream in the chat. But he's saying that he's convinced that there's a Pitfall Harry that's a massive sculpture outside of Penn Station in New York City. I did a quick Google search, and there is a massive statue. It doesn't look like Pitfall Harry to me. But whenever I see massive and sculpture, you can't help but think of somebody having like a gigantic snowman penis out in front right now, like it's snowing or something, and we weren't aware of it. My mom's got a photo from when she was in college. Yeah, go ahead. Send it to us on Twitter or something, and we'll definitely take a look at it. We'll talk about it. There's a picture of my mom and her like dorm friends with this like 10-foot tall penis, and people are sitting on the balls because it snowed so much that school was canceled, and so there was just this massive like drunk kids being in a winter playland. And she forgot that picture existed. So when I was looking through, she's like, oh! I'm like, it's all right, Mom.
That's awesome.
Yeah, our email address is classicl337@gmail.com. We'll definitely take a look at that. And if Google warns us not to open your email, I apologize. It's just how it is. Yeah. So, Turtles, the arcade game. What's all you think? Is he enjoying it?
I think by the time I finally got something going, he had walked out.
Oh,
he was like in the bath, or like he got bored and went and watched YouTube Kids or something like that.
Ooh, YouTube Kids.
Yeah.
Got to watch where those lead to. Have you seen any of the controversy around YouTube Kids?
I have, yeah.
It's crazy. Some of those. My buddy Matt, who got his account hacked, Mr. Pooper Scoper, he had just commented to me like the week before that big story broke, and was like, "Dude, this came up as on my. I came in and my son's watching this." I was like, "Hell, that's crazy, man." Yeah, YouTube Kids. That's a tarnished brand now. That name.
Even the stuff that's supposed to be on there will make you want to die. It's bad.
You can there's all of our 90s movies are still there for him. Dennis the Menace and Little Rascals and stuff.
Oh yeah.
Just gonna have to dig in your old catalog.
Yeah.
I wish I had good bandwidth for upload. I just give you my Plex login. I got all sorts of goodies like that, like Karate Kid and the Harry Potters, and yeah, some fun stuff. Heavyweights, the Turtles movies.
Yeah. Angus, you got Angus in there?
I don't have Angus. It's not on Blu-ray.
Oh, what?
There's only been The Wizard. I accepted no Blu-ray, and I bought The Wizard.
Of course.
There was another one. I can't remember exactly what it is now. But yeah, I've got a couple of DVDs. They just look so shitty upscaled. Remember how mind-blowing the first time you saw a DVD was?
Yeah.
I couldn't believe it. Now I don't even want to bother with it. Cool. So what else you been up to?
I've been playing Sid Meets Terraforming every night. It's a shooter on Turbo Duo.
Okay.
Real rarity. I can't talk tonight. And shooters are awesome because you can put them on, play them for like 15 minutes. That's usually about the time I die. And I'm like, well, all right, I'll try again tomorrow. But messing around with this game, I realized there is a 4x3 filter that you can put on your video in OBS.
Really?
Yeah, if you because what I have my composite running through upscales everything and puts it to 720.
Yeah,
and it doesn't look great. It doesn't look like it's supposed to. It's fine on my TV. I don't mind it, but when I stream it, I think it looks crappy.
Yeah.
So if you right click on the source and click filters and aspect ratio, 4x3 is an automatic option. You just type 4 in there and it'll crunch it.
All this manual corner dragging bullshit I've been doing, and there's a filter in there for me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I don't understand why they would put it in filters anyway. That doesn't make any sense, but
I guess I agree with that, but where else would you put it?
Yeah, that's a good point.
Like, it'd have to be...
I don't want to sound bad. OBS is awesome. I love OBS.
It's remarkably powerful software.
Yeah.
It's quite stunning. I'm shocked. Yeah. I would gladly pay for it. So
yeah,
I don't when people use XSplit, more power. Use what you know.
Mm-hmm.
There we go. Oh, this is crazy. Okay, Ben, we got your message. This is huge. Wow. Hey, Ben, do you mind if we use this as, this is really freaking cool, man. Do you mind if we use this as cover art for the thumbnail this week? It does. It's like a bunch of, like, Pitfall Harry looking guys, but not the cover art Pitfall Harrys, the actual pixel in the Atari game, stacked on each other. This is really cool, man. Thanks for sending this over. That's okay. I can rotate that. It's very awesome. Cool. I'd like to share this with people. If you send it to us on our Twitter account, I'll retweet it, and if I have your permission, I'd love to use some of this as our art this week. This is really freaking cool. Hell yeah. Thanks, man. So yeah, Dustin, what else you been up to? Yeah, it is. Are you looking at this picture? It is pretty stunning to look at.
Yeah, it's really cool.
Like modern art, like outside modern art's usually like, I don't know, a bunch of bent metal on an ice smart. This looks,
yeah,
this is really creative. That's cool. Awesome. Thanks for the permission, man. So what else you been playing, dude?
I played a little bit of Dracula X on the Super Nintendo. This was mainly because I was messing around with the Roxio game capture, which was that capture device I was talking with HG Retrovision about, and those guys are awesome. Yes. I've been bugging them on Twitter for forever and a day, and they're just like 100% helpful. So big shout outs to those guys.
Yeah, Steve wrote me like a really long email when I asked him a quick question about trying to mod my SNES Mini. The wire gauge he recommended, like all that kind of stuff. Like unprompted, out of nowhere. Just Nick and Steve are great. They're very cool.
But man, okay. So I was running into DirectX problems.
Okay.
It would not install on my PC, but it would on my work laptop, because I just want to try to see if it would work.
Sure.
And there's no update for the software used for that first iteration, because they've gone to the HD Pro, and they've been supporting it. It looks like it does have updates.
Okay.
And it, like, man, the customer service was garbage. I figured out myself eventually using Google and trolling forums. I got it installed. The install problem, I still had no audio. The drivers didn't go for the audio, so I couldn't pull audio from the component cables. I didn't say that part. I picked this up, this Roxio game capture, because it will pull the 240p HD Retrovision signal. And after all of that, it still didn't look that great.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I was hoping it was going to be like a $35 FrameMeister or like OSSC.
Yeah.
Open source scan converter. Yeah, OSSC. And it's not.
That's a bummer, because you would think I would also have taken that exact gamble. In fact, I still almost bought one, even though there's no need to, just out of the curiosity of it.
Yeah.
But you got to think that if all you're trying to do is get those specific cables to work with that specific system, it seems totally reasonable. But you weren't happy. It works. You just weren't happy with.
I finally got it to work, and it looked probably worse than what I would get from just composite.
That's crazy. That's weird.
Yeah. But at the same time, who knows with how shitty the install was. Like some driver didn't come in right, or like the signals wore. Who knows?
I wish, I wish we had more of a PC connection. We'd have to pull some major strings, but it'd be awesome if you're like, hey, here's this 1030 graphics card from NVIDIA. It's the $100 model, but that might be enough of an upgrade to support DirectX in the way that you would need for this to work. little stuff like that. Ken says, I hate DirectX issues. Yeah, that sucks. I have very rarely ran into a DirectX issue. I never see 10 as an option. I'll see launch in DirectX 9 or 11. I never see 10. But I remember 10 was a big deal in the news for some reason. Was that what? Was that the original Xbox?
I think so.
'Cause that's why it's called the Xbox, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because of DirectX.
They wanted to make a direct Xbox.
Yeah. But which number was that? Or was it just 1?
I don't know. The direct Xbox One.
Like, seriously, the jokes write themselves. Yeah, that's a bummer, man. As much as I want to say PC is just the way to go, there's caveats like this all the time.
Yeah.
They are amazing machines, but damn. Like, how many hours by the time you got something working, you're mentally spent. Right. You don't want to commentate. You don't want to play. You just... And if you're not happy with the picture, it's that much more deflating.
Yeah, the picture in OBS looked bad, and it made the picture on my TV wavy and gross.
That sounds like electrical interference, doesn't it? Like bad shielding in the cables?
That's what I was thinking. So... And I was like, man, I don't remember this.
But it's not bad shielding in the cables. We know that HD Retrovision's cables do not have that.
Right. Yeah, I was just about to say that. After I pulled all that crap out when I realized I wasn't going to get the signal that I wanted, and I just hooked up my HD Retrovision cables back to the flawless.
Yeah, it sounds like something like noise related to something around the output.
Yeah.
Like a bad resistor or something like that.
And I have all these gold-plated monster cables, so it can't be those.
What the dude. It's flawless. Monster cables. They still exist, don't they?
I think so, yeah.
As a brand. You know, I've actually bought a couple things through Best Buy recently.
Ooh.
Bought a TV for my dad for Christmas. Oh, the family did. I just had to pick it out.
Yeah.
And also a work computer. So Dell has really shitty customer service. Like, really bad. So we ordered three workstations from them.
Mm-hmm.
2 of them, flawless. Boot right up. We're all good. 1 of them, no matter what, fresh install, updates, everything, disk runs at 100%. Just so it was really bogged down, really slowed down.
Yeah.
The customer service was so bad when I was trying to just RMA it, I eventually got to the point where I want a refund. I'd been dealing with you over 2 weeks on this. Best Buy had that exact model that I wanted, so I could get a refund from Dell and go pick up what I really wanted. So instead of having to wait for Dell, it was going to take them 2 weeks to ship back a repaired unit. I'm like, this is unacceptable. I can't get into the computer well enough to take pictures of the hard drive to ensure that they gave me a new one based on the serial numbers.
Mm-hmm.
And because I couldn't do that, I'm like, if you upgrade me to a 1 terabyte SSD, I will keep this computer, but otherwise give me a refund. So the same price. So I don't know if Best Buy has just started to do well on the retail space as far as being competitive with the prices.
Yeah.
But I keep thinking that they're going to go away. And their TVs had, not Black Friday, just regular old TVs were really good prices. And this Inspiron model Dell that I got it's a 7th generation i5, 12 gigs DDR4 RAM.
Yeah.
1 terabyte hard drive, not an SSD.
Okay.
No graphics card, but $600. That's like the processor alone, without the motherboard, without any of that stuff, is a $300 and some processor. So
yeah,
seems like a really, really nice, good deal. It's tough to justify some of these pre-builds, I think. Oh, what Ken say here?
Ken was talking about his DirectX issues, and he said, when I had issues with Warframe's DirectX, I copied my Skyrim's DirectX 10 folder, and it works, but made Warframe look like Borderlands.
That sounds kind of sweet.
Yeah.
I would gladly watch stuff like that happen. And the weird stuff, I would have never thought to just copy and paste files over like that. I guess if you're not scared about corruption, like when Gooch would be on, he'd talk about fucking up his Skyrim save all the time by loading weird mods.
He never played it anyway, so that's fine.
He played, his playing of Skyrim was just loading weird mods.
Yeah.
Bear mods, that was my favorite. Bears and spiders. Skyrim mods are ridiculous how good that game can look.
Yeah.
The fact that thing is, what, 5-6 years old? When did that? No. That come out before 2012? When did that first Skyrim come out?
2011, maybe?
It's quite remarkable. I mean, it looks as good as anything that's out today.
Yeah.
With the mods. That's a bummer about the Roxio thing. I thought you were going to come in and be like, for the few of you that were able to get HD Retrovision cables, I have the solution for you.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. But I'm still in the market for an OSSC now, so.
Which is still a phenomenal system. I am excited. I have that 8-bit 2 controller is going to work really well with the OSSC stuff that I'd like it to. The Super Nintendo games I like to play. And then also you have a answer to a question from Kevin. Oh, no. You also played Wind Waker. Man, you had a busy goddamn week.
I did. I played all the video games. I actually played that, I think it was last night. Solly, I was actually screwing around with that game capture device, and Solly noticed the poster I have of Wind Waker. And he was like, Dad, that's Link. I was like, yeah, because he was playing Breath of the Wild with me. I was like, yeah, that was from another game. And I went over to the GameCube games here.
Bravo. If this doesn't work out, go to be a weatherman.
And I just pulled it out and handed it to him. And he was like, I want to play this. So we played it. And if you've never played Wind Waker and you want to play Breath of the Wild, play Wind Waker first. Because you do not want to go back to it. At least not the GameCube version. Maybe the HD re-release on the Wii U fixes a lot of things.
I had a hard time with Wind Waker when I finally tried it. The right stick is backwards.
Yes.
That's not fun.
I don't know what monster at Nintendo thought that was a good idea.
That didn't exist, though, yet. It was like the inverted, like, first-person shooter people.
Yeah, they do that, too. When you use your grappling hook.
Oh, yeah.
It's inverted.
I was going to say that grappling hook I hated the whole time, and I blame the fact that it was because I was going back to it. I wouldn't have had a problem if it was early on. That very first island, I really had a hard time with that right joystick. The C stick or whatever.
It is horrible.
It's really bad.
And it's the old Ocarina of Time control scheme. So you auto jump every time you run toward a ledge. It is infuriating because you can't control the camera and you're just jumping everywhere. It's
a total feel thing. You just get used to how in your mind you can detach what the camera's telling you with those style of games. But I agree, man. Going back to it, so it's jarring.
But we beat the first boss.
Not bad. I got probably 7 or 8 hours into that. I remember the last dungeon that I did. It's beautiful, but I only played GameCube. I have the Wii version, but I have not tried it. So I don't know. I know that they did fix the right joystick. I do know that.
Okay. At least give you the option to toggle.
I believe it's an option. Yeah.
Good grief. But on the other hand, going to Wind Waker, like, you can cut some bushes and make like 100 rupees. It's awesome.
It is satisfying.
you get a little hurt, you break a vase, and you get a heart. Like, you don't have to worry about food, and making money is nearly impossible in Breath of the Wild.
Yes. Yeah, the resource scarcity is really challenging in Breath of the Wild. It kept me on edge a lot because I don't like to do what you like to do, and like, oh fine, if you're gonna give me a grind option, I'll grind you, game.
I'll break the hell out of you.
Yeah, where I'm like, just tell me point A, tell me where I need to go. I'm playing you, game. You tell me what I need to do. I can go do something else if I want to make my own fun. I don't know why I've never gotten over that with open world games. It's not always open world, but there has to be a lot of other elements about it that I have to like to deal with open world. Where a lot of people view it as a benefit. They're excited about all the stuff to explore.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I just don't like the sandbox style of game design. I understand why people like it though, because there's been moments in open games I'm like, this is incredible.
Yeah.
Yeah. Shadow of Mordor. That's an open game. I love the hell out of that.
That game was awesome.
It's an older game now.
Yeah, it is.
So yeah. And also, okay, so Legacy of Kain. Unless you had any other thoughts on Wind Waker. I'm sorry, I kept jumping in.
No, you're fine. You're fine. Kevin's email had a question in it. Do we want to go to that email and then come back to this?
Sure.
After you do what you've been playing?
Okay, yes. So I've got a real quick thing. So I think last week I had talked about I did get the 8-bit Do controller, the replacement for the Pro controller for the Nintendo Switch. And it's shaped like a SNES controller. The thing feels amazing. It's a wonderful controller. They sent me a replacement. It works as you would expect.
Awesome.
Like, it felt so good that I finished Mighty Gunvolt Burst. I'd had some stages to go, and I just couldn't quit playing. It just felt correct.
Oh, yeah.
So that Mighty Gunvolt Burst is so goddamn good.
I need to pick that up.
It's a craft your own weapon at any time, but a Mega Man structure. And the level design's good. The music is good. It's inexpensive. It's what Mighty Number 9 should have been. That kind of a thing. I really enjoyed it. But the controller felt so perfect and good that it allowed me to just get back into the game. I wanted to just test it just to play. And because the game is fun, I continued to play. I didn't go to another title. So I'm impressed with the 8-bit Do controller. The big problem though, and I think this is a big problem, I have not been able to figure out a way to turn on devices with it. So I have to manually turn on my Switch. It won't wake up my Switch for me. It won't wake up my Steam Link for me. And for $50, you would expect that to happen.
Yeah. There's
probably a technical reason, whereas it doesn't want to wake up a bunch of different devices at the same time, maybe. Mm-hmm. I don't know. But that's a little on the frustrating side. It does have different input options that you can boot it into. So to turn on the controller, you can hold in Y, and that sets it to Nintendo. Like, you hold in Y, then power it on with the start button. That puts it into basically like Nintendo Switch mode.
Cool.
If you hold X, it puts it into X input, which is what Steam recognizes. If you put it into B, that puts you into just straight Windows, I think, input. And then if you hold A, it puts you into Mac OS input.
Dude, that's awesome.
So that kind of flexibility, for me in my situation, I can deal with the system not turning on if I can that easily jump between an Android phone or my Steam Link or my Switch. All I have to do is power it down and then power it back on the appropriate way, and it works. So I can be playing on my Steam Link, turn it off, turn my Switch on and then power it back on with the appropriate Switch command, and I don't have to resync it or repair it.
Yeah.
So I'm okay. I can actually accept that if assuming that's the trade off. I don't know, but I can live with it. But my phone, it worked great, and my Steam Link, it took an upgrade and some fiddling, but now my Steam Link works perfect, and I'm about a third of the way through Cuphead again because the same thing. It just started working so well that I couldn't stop playing Cuphead. Super Meat Boy had always been my latency test, and Cuphead is, I think, graduated to that spot for now. I love Cuphead. And then lastly, I did want to make a quick mention before we get to emails and comments. I watched American Vandal on Netflix. Have you heard anything about American Vandal?
Is that the one where the guy draws dicks on everything?
Yep.
No, I haven't seen it. I mean, I've heard about it, but I haven't seen it.
It's incredible. if it's a great satire on shows that are like NPR type podcasts, like when like Serial, it's played dead straight.
Awesome.
And it's a documentary about the trial of the dicks on the cars. It's great. I love it. My brother recommended that to me, and I binged it last weekend. It's like, this is amazing. So, all right. Well, let's get to our emails and our comments from last week. If you'd like to send us an email, that's classicelite@gmail.com. And we have a great email from our good buddy Kevin.
All right. Our Canadian correspondent, Kevin, says, "Hey, guys, it's been a hot minute since I last wrote in, so excuse me. First off, I don't know if you guys spoke about Ready Player One. If so, what are your thoughts on it? I cannot wait for it. I've read the book twice and listened to the audiobook thanks to someone's Audible hookup. Apparently, a lot of gamers are pissed because it's major pandering. I don't see a problem with it because I like being pandered to, and I enjoy things that look fun."
I agree, Kevin.
Speaking of fun, did you guys say you like Wonder Woman more than Guardians of the Galaxy 2? Wonder Woman was the shittiest piece of shit that ever shat. Yes, it's the best DC movie so far. That's because the other movies were such hot shat. It's the least shittiest piece of shit, but still shit. Same thing with Logan. Yeah, it was good, but that's because the other Wolverine movies were crap. And Logan was not good either.
I think he's just trolling us. He's got to be making shit up.
Marvel is hitting it out of the park with every movie, some better than others, but Guardians of the Galaxy and Spider-Man, beautiful.
Spider-Man Homecoming, beautiful. I will agree with that. I'll try again with Guardians of the Galaxy 2. Because of Kevin. It's on Netflix, so I can definitely try it again. But I did enjoy Wonder Woman, and not with the caveat of it was a DC movie. I liked it more than a good handful of the Marvel movies.
I still haven't seen it yet.
I mean, I thought it was quite good. Like, I would rather watch it than... I thought it was better than any of the Iron Man movies. Okay. I liked it more than, I would say, Thor 2, Captain America 1. And I think he's just trolling us with Logan. First of all, that's a Marvel movie, so the subsequent line after that's garbage. He's implying that it's a DC level movie. I can't believe he hated Logan. Or I shouldn't say he hated Logan. That's putting words in his mouth. The tone comes across as he thinks it's quite overrated.
Man, I love that movie. It was great.
I loved Logan. See, with Wonder Woman, there is some humor in there, and I thought they handled the humor much better than Guardians of the Galaxy 2. See, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 had really jarring inserts of jokes. It's not just that a particular character I didn't believe would make that joke. They would do it at times where... So a villain type would come in and be like, "Oh, I'm taking this over," or "Your plans are foiled," and then they'd like trip, be like, "I lost my balance." Like, that exact thing didn't happen, but it would be like a weird slapstick thing to end the scene of an important scene to move the movie forward.
Yeah.
To each their own. Different folks, different strokes, right? Maybe there's like a weird like Canadian cut of Wonder Woman. Like the Guardians of the Galaxy 2, they're like, oh, the Americans they need jokes. Just get jokes in there. And there's like a Canadian cut that's more like a regular movie.
Yeah.
Also, to be fair to Guardians of the Galaxy 2, if I was 12, maybe the best movie I've ever seen.
Right.
Hey, Iceman, what's going on? Good to see you. So, okay, continue on.
Let's see here. You've got to be the first person I've heard say GOTG2 Thor had too many jokes. Personally, I don't think there's anything wrong with too many jokes. The more jokes, the better. They may not all hit, but when they do, it's gold. I guess I just like to have a good time, unlike some people. Hint, hint. Sorry, I'm still recovering from the Wonder Woman thing. Dustin, I heard you say that you're reading Akira. I've never read it, but I did just discover Junji Ito. And his comics are fucked. He was working with Kojima on PT. Thankfully, someone put their comics online, but I recommend buying them as they're great collections in art. He takes normal everyday things and makes it scary somehow. Read them all for good taste, but for a good taste, read the one about the mountain. I forget what it's called. Also, I just started watching Venture Bros this last week, which was funny to hear you say you liked it. I'm just on season 2. Also, Scott, someone made a Simpsons joke about a Krusty O, and it went right over your head. I'm not angry, just disappointed.
Sorry, Kevin. I'm not.
Me too.
I
think it was Retro Kaiser.
Yeah, and it was. His joke hit for me. We talked about fuck the kid that ate the metal O, but I think the joke in Simpsons, and this might not be what went over our heads. I think Krusty-O's, they are just metal in the cartoon. Like, they're just a box of, like, you pour metal out of a cereal box. I think might be the joke.
Okay.
But I don't know. Kevin, I'm not a big Simpsons fan.
Yeah. I can't even come up with an episode that had Krusty-O's in it.
Me either. My love of The Simpsons comes from the fact I wasn't allowed to watch it when I was a kid. And then when I finally did, it was like, I was too young to get the smart jokes. And it wasn't... I couldn't understand why I wasn't allowed to watch it. So it, like, lost its... Like, Beavis and Butthead, you'd be like, oh, I don't know, I'm not allowed to watch this. Or, like, RoboCop, like, okay, I get it. But, yeah, Simpsons, I was like, what's the big deal?
Yeah. I haven't watched Simpsons since, like, 1993.
I do have a Bart Simpson sticker on my AVS because it felt appropriate. So, I do have that. My favorite episode is when Homer has a racehorse. Have you ever seen that one? Mm-hmm. There's a joke in it where Homer's like being made fun of by other jockeys. Like, can your horse even run a race? And Homer's like, well, yeah, he ran all the way here. And it's like, so he doesn't have a horse trailer. He just fucking rode the horse to the track. And his proof that the horse can race was that he already ran there. And for some reason, like, that just killed me. But Venture Brothers, Season 2 is where it really hits its stride. Oh, I love the Venture Brothers so much. Season 7 should be out next year sometime.
Man. Anyways, I recently traded in South Park Stick of Truth, Dead Rising, and Dead Rising 2, all for the Xbox 360, for No Man's Sky, Batman Telltale, and for some reason I got Dead Rising and Dead Rising 2 for PS4. So I put in No Man's Sky, got confused by the loading screen, died instantly, opened a menu, saw a bunch of empty spaces, and said, fuck this, I'm out. I have no interest or time for space Minecraft right now. Got rid of it. Then I put in Dead Rising Remastered and noticed it looked exactly the same as the original. Also said, fuck this, I'm out. Didn't even bother with Dead Rising 2. Traded those games in. But Batman Telltale was so awesome. It took everything I knew about Batman and that universe and changed it up so much that I was actually second-guessing myself. It's a great Bruce Wayne simulator and a meh Batman one, thanks to Telltale's shitty engine. Once I completed the repurchase, once I completed that, I repurchased Return to Arkham, as I absolutely love that series. And unlike Dead Rising, it's actually better looking and doesn't look like a bunch of dicks on the screen. Plus, it's the only game I 100% achieved on 360 and plan to platinum because I love it so much.
Dude, Kevin is feisty in this email. You think he had a couple beers in him?
I think so. Maybe the baby kept him up for.
Well, it's not a baby anymore, man. She's like a grown person now.
Like 17.
Yes, she's graduating.
About to move out to go to college. Okay. Damn, I lost my place because I love it so much. And since I have the Batman games again, I traded the original copies for Stardew Valley and purchased Undertale for the Vita. It came with a PS4 copy too, Score. I have no idea what those games are about, but it's the only games that didn't look like anything I'd played before, meaning indie games are the best.
Wow. So Undertale has a very passionate fan base. Mm-hmm. People really love that game. So I hope Kevin does as well. And Stardew Valley, they don't have as rabid of a fan base, but everyone that seemed to touch that game was like, man, I don't know how. I just played 40 hours in the last day. People couldn't seem to stop it. And the fact that it came out on Vita recently is really cool. That's like Tom Happ from Axiom Verge. One guy did all of Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Music, graphics, took him 5 years.
Dude, that's cool.
Very cool stuff.
Back to the email, Kevin says, I hate this generation of gaming. I do want to switch just for Mario Odyssey. Nintendo doesn't suck. Yeah, man, the Switch is the way to go right now. Mario Odyssey, Breath of the Wild, Blaster Master, Mummy Demastered, the one you're playing, Mighty Gunvolt.
Mighty Gunvolt Burst, Sonic Mania, of course, Blaster Master, all the Neo Geo backwards compatible stuff is really neat.
Yeah.
That Mr. Shifty game that Dumez was telling us about, I haven't bought it yet, but looks incredible and has really good reviews. It's like that, like Hotline Miami on the Switch kind of game. Mm-hmm. It's got Cave Story from like an OG good indie game.
Yep. You can get a physical copy of that.
Yeah. Switch is really, if all you need is games, man, the Switch is really incredible right now. At least from our era, our generation.
Yeah.
Like everything.
If you want some Diet XCOM, you have that Mario Rabbids game.
Yes. Although it's a full priced game, so it doesn't feel like Diet, but yes, I know what you mean.
True.
Yeah, and then there's Odyssey and Breath of the Wild.
By Diet, I mean it's not going to kick you in the teeth like XCOM is.
Yeah, yes, I know what you mean.
Just for our audience, so they don't think I'm like hating. Anyways, I'm in a Batman mood now, and I am going to watch all the Batman movies again and the animated series, all because of that Telltale game.
Sweet.
It reignited my love for Batman.
I heard
now
it's
for
good.
Now for my
confirmation.
Question of the week. What is a story, character, theme you would like to see made by Telltale? Telltale usually tells very good stories, but their gameplay is very lackluster. Anyway, sorry about the long-ass email. Keep up the good work. Also, I wrote this all on my phone, so sorry for words that don't make sandwich. Kevin.
At a bar.
Right. So yes, what is a story, character, theme you would like to see made by Telltale?
It's pretty easy for me. I would love to see them do a Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
I loved that 360 game, so I would love Dan Aykroyd to just get weirder as a script consultant. I don't know. What are some that you'd really enjoy?
I thought you were going to say Contra.
But in a Telltale, so I'm not. Yeah, I'm not interested in.
You don't want to get the hot take story on
the alien thing, the heart, the cardiovascular issues of aliens. I think that would be. I think a good Ghostbusters would be fun. They could even tell me basically the same 360 story. Not enough people were exposed to that. I don't know. What about you? What are some that jump into your mind?
Mine was Legacy of Kain.
Oh, that's where it all ties back in.
Yeah. Because that game was mostly story anyway.
Okay.
And the later games were written by, I don't know if the earlier ones were, but I know the later games were written by Amy Hennig, who is super awesome.
Okay.
Like the Soul Reaver sequels for the PlayStation 2, like you could just basically run past most of the monsters. You didn't even have to fight them.
Okay.
So it was mostly just them going through CG, like cinematics and telling the story.
Did you like the movie or the TV show 24?
Yeah.
I could get down on some Jack Bauer.
That would be awesome.
24 type stuff. And you tell some pretty fun stories with that. But really, I would like to see a Ghostbusters. I would also accept a, rest in peace, Bob Haskins, but a Mario Brothers 2, the movie.
Okay.
Tell me what happened with Daisy when she came back and was like, that cliffhanger at the end of that movie. I want some resolution there. Give me a Turtles. Did Super Shredder really die in that pier? These are things that never got resolved as a kid. That I would... when I think about those things, I understand how people feel about Valve and Half-Life.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. I think Ghostbusters would be really, really fun.
Metal Gear Solid 5. They could finish that story.
I can finish that story. Chapter 28. Thanks, Telltale. Actually, then they could get Kojima's weirdness in there to...
Mm-hmm. Oh man, a Kojima Telltale game.
I would be excited to play that just because you know that I think that I would anticipate a lot of second guessing myself and it playing out to go, damn it, I shouldn't have changed my mind on a really satisfying way.
Yeah.
Like, to be shown that you made the wrong choice. I don't know how exactly they would do that, but I could see them hitting that sensation for me a good bit. Yeah. So, Kevin, I hope we didn't talk down to two. What have I complained about this week? Are we going to get any corrections from him? I don't think so.
I think we're good.
But he didn't like us liking Wonder Woman. You can be the tiebreaker on that when you finally watch it.
Okay. No.
To be fair,
I'm probably going to side with you.
Huh?
I'm probably going to side with you. I'm a sucker for brunettes.
Yeah, Kevin, you're really behind the eight ball because she looks incredible. And she seems like believable. I don't know. There's a sincerity about her. I really enjoyed that movie. Part of it's because I think my expectations were really low. It got really good reviews. Everyone said they liked it. And I was skeptical of a DC movie being one that I really enjoyed. And I also didn't believe that the hype would be lived up to. So I went in thinking I wouldn't like it. The Guardians of the Galaxy 2, I didn't expect such a sheer drop-off from my enjoyment of the movie. So I'm sure that those are my biases playing into my opinions there. I'm also nervous about that new Thor movie because I heard it's like got lots of jokes.
Yeah.
Like I think it might break for me there, but whatever. Let's get to Tony's stuff. We got some feedback from Tony.
Let's see, it is episode Saturday Night Dodgeball. And Tony says, "Hey guys, hope you're having a great week. Line of the week from Scott. It reminds me of the awkward, cool Christian pastor who would try to come around with his ears pierced, and I'm like, what is this fucking guy talking about?" That about made me spit my coffee on my new Chromebook. And to answer your question, Scott, yes, I have been that guy, minus the ear piercings. I loved you guys talking about the Dreamcast some. I still grieve that console's not doing well, as I was so pumped about it. My thoughts on adding more comedy to the show, per your discussion, is to allow DB to have a 5-minute ad-lib section of the show each week. Deep thoughts by D-Bag, and the comedy will come.
That's a good idea. That actually would happen.
Apologies that the comment is short this week, mostly just listening in the background. You guys are awesome as always. Have a good Christmas.
Thanks, Tony. And then, so I was really late in publishing last week's podcast, so he commented then on the most recent one we just released, episode 258, Frame Rate Fun Fridays. I had to put the tongue twister in. There were better jokes in that episode, but that is such a hard thing to say that it won. So from the title of the episode, Frame Rate Fun Fridays, he says, "Hey guys, hope you're doing well. Are you ready for Christmas? We are excited about it here. I'm enjoying being a dad this time of year and getting into some exciting stuff and traditions with the kids. Funny that you brought up Assassin's Creed Black Flag for free on Uplay, on the Uplay giveaway for Christmas. He says, I got into my Uplay account for the first time to get that game, and I realized I already had it. He said they're also giving away Watch Dogs PC, another game right now. Yes, so Watch Dogs is also available if you have a Uplay account for free.
Cool.
It says, good deal. It says, I will change my PS4 name when we are able to next year. Mine is Big_Steamy. For some reason, I must have selected it after a few Sam Adams because I hate that name. It says, Ready Player One. I am so excited for that movie. The book was incredible, and as all of you know, so DB, you now need to read it too. He said, it's fun, and I think that the book beforehand will make the movie better. So, Josh, I really enjoy the segment where you ask a question of the week. It spurred some great conversation, and it was fun to listen to you guys discuss the realism of graphics and the fun of gaming in that area. Line of the week from Josh, in reference to GameSack YouTube channel of the week. He says, how big is that damn sack? It's like Santa's magic sack of magic. Keep pulling shit out of it. He says, Dustin, I feel your Zelda pain. At this point in my life, it's really hard for me to play anything open world. I just don't have the time. So I'm finding myself sticking to single-player linear adventures or quick-hit multiplayer games. In a parallel universe, though, I'm playing the shit out of Zelda right now. He says, so Josh, find some time. Or he says, so find some of the music from your old videos. He said, you should try the one is What If This Song app on your phone. There's also, like, if he has an Android phone, there's the built-in Google Assistant listening app.
Cool.
And there's, like, Groove Shark and other things, so yeah. Andrew, maybe that'll work for you. Hopefully it does. I just don't have the time. He says, Scott, you're right. I need to get Cuphead. Of course, I'm worried now that it might offend me, based on the article that you shared. Piers, he says, another great episode. Have a great week. So, yeah, thank you. Luckily, we didn't have any Onion articles to read this week.
Right.
And then from Dumez, we have a couple of quick comments. He says, them douchebags are fucks. Plenty of old cartoons did not have racist shit, and a bunch did. I think he might have meant a bunch didn't. Either way, he says, why would someone making new games based on that art style even want to bring it up? It's supposed to be a fun game, and they're not responsible to shovel social issues into their game. If they wanted to, sure, but there's no necessary reason that they should. And I think you and I agree completely on that.
Yeah.
Again, like, are we not allowed to, like, have things in black and white? And it's just I understand the heart of what the Mr. Cole was saying in that article, and if it's sensitive, I can get it, but at some point you gotta realize maybe you're just saying stuff for clicks right now. So, or you need to talk to more than your sociology professor. He says, Dustin, you are busted. You saw a Watchmen movie and said it made you go read the book? But I know it is because you just have not had enough of Dr. Manhattan's blue gigantic member.
Guilty. You call me blue-handed.
The giant dick was distracting when I went to go see that movie. I wasn't expecting it, so it was a lot.
Yeah.
It'd be one thing if there were, if dicks in movies weren't unusual in the U.S., but they are, so it's hard to not focus on it. So yeah, Dustin, I'll send you my copy of Watchmen if you need a Blu-ray.
I got on Blu-ray.
High fidelity.
Yeah.
I think I have it in a combo pack. It came with like 2 other movies, like Constantine and something else, or maybe it's just the 2 of those.
I like Constantine.
I like Constantine. I like Watchmen and I like Constantine.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it came with the 3rd one. Maybe 300. Maybe something like that.
That makes sense.
Did Zack Snyder also do Constantine? Is that why it might be bundled together?
It
It doesn't feel like a Zack Snyder movie.
He definitely did 300.
Yeah. That's why I was guessing it might be 300, but I don't know. It made it... Oh. No, that's War Games. I don't know. I don't see it. It's up there somewhere, that tri-pack. So, well, everyone, thank you very much for the feedback. Hey, Bastion, good to see you. If you'd like to interact with us, we do record Wednesday nights. This week it's Thursday at 8 p.m. or 8:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, or Daylight Time, I guess. But if you'd like to participate, you can join our chat and we talk about whatever you guys would like us to talk about, or you can give your opinions on what we're discussing. Also, if you go to our YouTube channel and leave a comment on the video of this, we'll read it online. Or you can send us an email to classicelite@gmail.com with any feedback or questions, and we can certainly answer those on air. So, Dustin, before we take off for the night, any other final thoughts for the week?
Nope, I think we're good.
All right, good. Ended up being a lot longer than I was expecting.
Yeah, well, I played my entire collection this last week. So,
so there was a lot to talk about, and plus I dipped into vodka, so you get a little rambly.
Right.
If you'd like the audio versions of our podcast, you can get those at our website, classicelite.com. Every episode is there. But if you go to other podcast services, you can get most of our episodes. So if you go to Apple Podcasts or Google Play, Stitcher, Podbean, SoundCloud, most of those go back about 100 episodes, which is crazy. That's only like a third of our catalog now.
Yeah. That's
a lot of episodes. So they're all there. They're for free. Enjoy them if you liked this show. If you'd like to support the show, we have Amazon affiliate links. If you go to our main site, which is amazon.com/shop/classicelite, we have a storefront, and if you buy anything else while you're there through Amazon, we'll get a small kickback for it. We also have a Canadian link as well for any of our Canadian listeners. If you go to our Amazon page through our links below, we'll get a small kickback if you purchase something. I would recommend the digital video games. That helps us the most. Also, shout out to Crude. He gave us a donation tonight, so thank you very much for that. Also want to thank our good buddy Andrew for stopping by and hanging out and confirming all of our audio stuff with us. Ben, thanks for the Ben Martin. Nice beautiful photo that he reworked and resent. So we have phenomenal cover art for this week's episode. Excited about that. So if you'd like to follow us, though, on any social media stuff, you can do that on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and SoundCloud. Our handle is just at Classic Elite, Classic L337. We have a Twitch page. You can search for us on Twitch, but we don't usually broadcast on Twitch right now. I don't know if Amazon Tube takes off. We'll be there. And thank you very much to Ben Landis for letting us use his song "Through the Forest" as our intro music. So, Dustin, this week for outro music, we are going to play another song by Impulses. We've played plenty of Impulses songs before, maybe 3 or 4 of them. This is a cover of it's definitely one of the few, maybe the only Christmas song I like, Carol of the Bells. And it has a very interesting, I love the way it's layered. There's some really cool percussion layering, and normally it's just bells. So the way he does that's really neat. And he adds some other tones to it that I just really appreciated. It sounded more, I don't know, it sounded like a fresh take on an old creepy Christmas song. So I really enjoyed it. So that's going to be it. I will leave. It's a free song that you can download through Impulse's SoundCloud page. So I will have that linked So you can go download it. Make sure to give Impulses a follow. They're great. I love a lot of their stuff, a lot of the songs. So that's going to be it for episode 259, Dustin. And I guess we'll see everybody next week for episode 256.
Boosh.
All right. Okay, well, everybody, thank you very much. You all have a wonderful holiday, and I'm going to shut the stream down. So you guys have a great holiday, and we'll see you next week. Bye-bye.
Peace out.